And we're back. Another episode of the WealthRabbit podcast. I'm Charles.
I'm Jason.
I'm Adam.
And we all have hats.
Oh, Caleb talking.
Caleb speaking.
Whoa.
Welcome back. We have hats now. Welcome to the hat.
Yeah.
The hat. It's like Mulaney's bit about the Beatles, where he's like, they none of them had mustaches, and then the next album, they all had mustaches.
Yeah.
This is our Beatles having mustaches phase of the podcast.
Exactly like that.
First comment.
exactly
Is it
like-
first comment gets us hat?
First comment
Oh
gets a
my-
hat.
is that what happened?
No.
First comment gets a hat.
Is it pure cashmere? What are these hats made out
Hats,
of?
yes, of course, pure cashmere.
Yeah, and bunny
100%
Bunny fur.
Yeah. No,
What is
bunny.
that?
Bunny sounds like it's a baby bunny. This was a grown ass rabbit.
Man, why is that not a package? Grown-ass rabbit? You don't have that as a special plan on WealthRabbit? Special,
I mean, if you
special package.
We'll
the
run that
grown-ass
through our
rabbit.
marketing people to
Yeah.
see what they think.
yeah,
See what they
They might approve it. We'll see.
the gar.
think.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Warren.
Took me a minute. Yeah, so welcome to the Warren, which apparently is where
That's where rabbits live.
Yeah.
That's where
I
all
thought
of our
it-
bad bunnies, what they go to work all day.
They go to work.
and they
Where
come
they go?
home.
Yeah.
They go to that.
They
They
burrow
go
down.
Warren.
They burrow.
They burrow
in.
in the Warren.
They
In
burrow
the
in the
Warren.
Warren. So burrow's a verb. Burrow is not a place. I thought it was a. So burrow is more
Apparently
of an action.
not, Charles.
Okay.
Apparently
A
a Warren is a
Warren-
place and a burrow is what you do to get there.
A Warren is a place.
So you Brooklyn? Brooklyn is a borough.
Brooklyn is
Yeah,
So
exactly.
different kind of boroughs. Different kind of boroughs. Oh yeah, like I thought they lived in neighborhoods. Like, special borough, like a special.
Yeah.
All right. What's our topic today,
Oh
Charles?
yeah. So today we're talking about the power of compound interest. Why starting early matters. What we were saying is,
It's kind of exactly like bunnies.
keep pounding, keep compounding,
Yeah.
keep multiplying.
The earlier you can start, the more baby bunnies you can have.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oof. Yeah.
It's pretty simple, really.
So this is a podcast for
Like
rabbit
simple
breeders.
IRA.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Simple,
want to
simple.
keep it simple.
Give it simple.
The earlier you start, you have the more time to make money
and make bunnies.
and make
Make
bunnies.
bunnies. If we were comparing
Podcast over.
it, I think we covered it. It really is that simple, though. I mean, like that's the beautiful thing about a lot of these topics is you can talk forever about them. But
Well, is it
a lot of it comes down
compounding
to
Sir Isaac Newton's eighth world wonder?
oh, that's right. Well,
Charles?
What?
That's a good question. Who said that? Who said it? Somebody said compound interest is like the eighth wonder of the world. Was it Isaac Newton? That's your guess?
It was
My
definitely
guess
not
is
Isaac
like-
Newton.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. That was
My
a
guess
play
is
on
like
joke.
was it?
Isaac Newton didn't make the seven wonders of the world. Those are from,
From God?
antiquity. Isaac Newton was the
Well,
1600s.
let's not get religious.
Benjamin
here,
Franklin? Benjamin Franklin, maybe? Feels like a Benjamin Franklin quote. Yeah, Caleb.
I don't even know how to Google that.
You just Google who said eighth wonder of the world is compounding.
Albert Einstein.
I did say
Einstein.
I knew that. I knew it.
Newton, you're close.
Yeah, Newton, Einstein.
500 years off or something. Yeah, that's
He
right.
could have used a WealthRabbit hat.
He would have loved it. Well,
Yeah.
hide all that hair, though. That'd be a shame to.
But let's start. What is compounding?
Yeah,
you
so
know,
let's
like
talk
let's
about
talk
it.
about
So-
that. Like,
I think, so compounding is a loaded term, right? Because you think of compounding as compound interest, but it's not really interest that you're getting when you have an investment. So
what it means is your investment number is compounding.
Right.
So, let's say you start with $100,000. Let's say you start with $1,000. It makes 5%. That's $50 in gain. That means the next year you start with $1,050, and then that makes 5%.
Right. Without
then-
even making a contribution.
Without
It's
even
going to
making a
grow.
contribution.
So make
So,
50
With the
$55.
contributions.
Yep.
Yeah.
The point is, you make more money the longer it's in there, and you're not just making $50 every year. You're making
Right. You're making it on the growth. So each year you're making more, and ideally you're contributing too. So you're.
Yeah, exactly.
but going back to your question about interest,
Yes.
like, I mean, it's depending on how you're invested. You know, interest typically means what something pays you, whether it be a dividend or something like that. You know, most of the time, especially with equity investments, stock investments, you're making money, and it's some of these growth companies are not paying you dividends, so the value of those companies are going up, which means your share value is going up. So that's what compounds, not necessarily interest.
Right. So if you have a basic savings account, as people maybe think of it, like a savings account that pays you interest on the money that you have in that account. That's one very basic way of looking at it. But in general, when you're talking retirement accounts, you're talking more in the realm of equities.
Yeah.
Not something like that.
And the markdown average goes up 9%?
I would a little less than that, but
8.9%?
somewhere in the 7.5%, 8%. Depends on how far back you go. But
How far back you go.
yeah.
If you go back,
let's
really
just say
far,
8.
is it?
Yeah, let's just say 8%.
So generally, you would double your money in 7 years.
Yeah, so that's quick math from the rule of 72 for our bad bunnies out there.
Ooh, let's talk about that. You did make that reference before, but
Yes.
the rule of 72, I don't think it has been brought up specifically.
The rule.
The rule.
Everyone, silence. Adam will explain the rule of 72.
The rule of 72.
I feel like because he doesn't know the rule.
So
He's
the
gonna-
year was 1996. Chicago Bulls were at their height.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan Pippen liked each other. So what the rule of 72 is if you get an X amount of interest and divide that by 72, that's the how long it will take for your investment to double. So, for example, if you earn 10%, and by the rule of 72, it's going to take 7.2 years for your investment to double. So I see is that not simple enough for you?
That's good. That's good. And that works with anything? 70, you divide it by 72, depending on the...
I guess you would divide it into 72. I'm not sure that
okay.
technical. I mean,
Sure.
The way they teach kids math nowadays is not how they taught me back in,
I think it's you divide it into 72.
Divide it
10.
into
Yeah. Everyone knew. Bad Bunnies knew
72
what I meant.
divided by
Follow it.
10. That's how many years
Yeah.
it's going to take. It's easy.
Yeah, it's very
Simple.
simple.
Wait, everyone take out their TI-83s.
So everybody's-
We're going to do this all together.
They still use this?
They do.
They're on TI-84s now.
Oh, 84.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was the 83B. Well, I think it's just important to talk about.
This is where we can talk about risk.
Yeah.
That's a perfect thing to...
That's how you segue as a podcast host, Charles. I'll teach you later.
Yes.
Can we keep that in, please?
Please
Can we-
please keep it in.
So obviously, if you're, it's explain risk.
So there's risk with anything. What risk is how much you're willing to put on the table to earn something else in the future. I guess that'd be a simple way of turning it.
Yeah.
No one's ever asked me
So-
what risk means, so now that I'm thinking about it,
So
like-
what made something more risky than something else? If you're like, for instance, if you put money into a Disney or a GE that's been around a long time, they have the track record, like they're going to be less risky. You put something into a startup tech company, it's riskier because it doesn't have the track record. We don't know if it's going to work out, but your potential for reward is a lot higher because there's a lot of room for growth. Disney, they don't have that much room for growth. They're a very saturated company, so they'll make money and you'll make money off them, but you don't have the potential to make as much as if you went a different route.
Hopefully Bob's not listening to this.
He's a big fan. Big fan.
I didn't know you knew him first name Bob.
Bob, yeah. So yeah, I mean, risk, reward, higher risk, higher potential
And it
reward,
also
lower
depends on
risk.
how old, your age, how old you are, when you want to retire, your goals, not even talking about, just simple IRA where it's, save for retirement. You can have different buckets outside of here to where, hey, you have a goal of saving up for a house or for a car or for a wedding for your kids or for education. Those are going to be invested in a different level of risk because the time horizon on those goals are different. So typically when you have more time, you want more risk because you have that time to where you can deal with the ups and downs of the market. Historically, you'll make more money because you have more risk. Vice versa, if you're something that is 3 months, 6 months out, you're not going to want to put that all into growth stocks because there's a chance that they may go down 10, 15, 20%, and then you can't reach your goal in the next 3 months.
And transitioning from the way you were describing it, you were mentioning specific companies, and we're not advising stock picking or anything like that, but how would you describe it when it relates to like people putting money in their 401ks or?
Well, I would say
simple IRAs?
most people, most employees, myself included, like I don't know what to invest in.
Right.
So that's a good plan, like WealthRabbit. We have designed portfolios for you based on risk tolerance. So the more risky you want to be, we have portfolios that are designed for that. They track different companies, different sectors of the market, and that gets you more diverse.
Diversification, yeah.
You want to be
Yeah,
diversified.
look, you saw that? Did we say the D word at the same time?
Yeah, the D word. Diversification. But yeah, and you want to, in general, you want to be diverse. You don't want all your money in one basket.
Right. And would a low risk version of diversification be like just a broad index fund? Like you're buying the market in general, like you're buying.
No, you're
Well,
gonna
a low risk you can be in, if you're at low risk, which in WealthRabbit we have a conservative portfolio, at that point you're not going to have equity exposure because
that's incredibly low risk.
yeah,
It's more just
that's
like
incredibly
okay.
I mean, we
mostly
have it
bonds.
mostly bonds, cash,
It's like yeah,
tips, things like that. So that's where
almost inadvisably low, right? I mean, like what are the situations that you would?
well, people who are just so. I mean, there are people that we've talked to that want that option
Or at
to
least they
not
wanna-
have any exposure, and they don't ever want to see their account go down.
It's better than cash.
And I'm not saying that
So-
I'm not saying their account will not go down. Will not go down if they're in this conservative portfolio
Right.
because depending on interest rates and the environment we're in, bonds can go down and have gone down in the past. But the chances of that happening are much lower than a stock or an equity portfolio.
So if you have your money sitting in cash,
Right.
you're probably not earning anything.
Yeah.
The interest rate environment, even now, like if it's sitting just in a bank account, you're earning 0% or
Right.
maybe 0.1%. Like,
And at that point, you're losing money
You'll-
as far as purchasing power goes.
With
Exactly.
inflation, exactly.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So our most conservative investment wealth, like Adam said, is basically all in bonds.
Yeah, trying to keep up with inflation. That's pretty
even
much
then-
the
Yeah,
goal of
it'll
that.
go up 3-4% a year.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
But you don't have the downside.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what's important, and for a lot of folks is they, especially some of our older clients who are in WealthRabbit or older folks are Bad Bunnies who are been around for a little bit. They can remember 2008 global financial crisis, 2000.com bubble burst.
1929.
Yeah,
They remember it.
yeah,
Grandma remembers.
Those
Yeah.
old bunnies.
Yeah, they remember putting
soup
dollar
lines.
bills as wallpaper.
Yeah.
The good old days.
So yeah, it depends on the person.
Yeah. But I mean, the key thing to WealthRabbit with risk is there's options.
Right. And you could have
Yeah.
a percentage in there. Like you could have a portion of yours allocated.
Exactly.
To a very
Yeah.
low
So
risk
like
portion.
so if you
So we have the most risky,
Yeah.
and we have the least risky, and then we have 3 in between. So if
Yeah.
you want to be
so you want to be
50-50,
conservative
yeah,
Okay.
down here,
Mm-hmm.
aggressive up here,
Yep.
somewhere in between, we have those options as well. And it's basically just it's portfolios that were built by us and BlackRock.
Mm-hmm.
They have CFAs who helped us build these portfolios.
and we're actively managing them.
Yeah.
Which means if they get a little out of balance, like if the equities go up a lot,
Yeah.
and we want to be a little more conservative in that fund, we'll actively trade that.
Yeah. And actually rebalance the portfolio.
Can you address that a little bit? So like to buy something
Well,
else.
we want to keep you in a portfolio. If you're in a 60-40 split,
Yeah.
we want to keep that 60-40 there. So
60-40
yeah.
bonds.
if we
bonds
get
to equities.
yeah,
Is that true?
I'm just making up.
Yeah.
Or
sure.
equities. Typically, a 60-40 means 60% stocks, 40%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
if our stocks go up to 70%, we don't really
Yeah.
keep the risk tolerance.
Yeah, unless their risk
proper.
tolerance changed.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's everyone likes when it goes up, but when things go down,
Right.
that's when
Right. That's the thing. Yeah.
that's when it's rough in the Warren.
Yeah. And the rough in the war.
But like I think we talked about this on a previous podcast, but like the worst thing you can do is try and time the market. If the market goes down, you take your money out. Like that's the worst thing you can do. Or if it goes up, you try to you should be putting more money in when the market's down, and you should be selling when the market's up. But
Yeah.
it's very hard to time
Yeah.
when it's up or down.
Yeah, it's very easy to get out of the market. It is very, very hard to get back in.
Yeah.
It's just mentally, it is very, very hard to get back in. And if you ever find talk to an advisor who says they can time the market, you need to run.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Right.
Yeah, and we've seen clients that the market will go down 3% in a day,
Right.
and they'll call and they want to sell everything.
Right.
And it never works out well for them
Right.
because it inevitably goes back up,
Right.
and they've just lost. They
Right.
they sold it literally the down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you
You're
want to
selling at
do
the
what
bottom,
what they say is you typically want to buy things when they're low and sell things when they're high.
Right.
That's what rebalancing is.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, that's a good argument.
Economics, basic.
There you go. Boom. All right.
But most people like
No,
they
you're right,
don't
though.
have they don't have a background in finance. They don't have economics. That's why like you want to
It's-
put stuff in good stuff, like in good portfolios like we have, and don't touch them. Trust us, like because we're gonna put you in good things. If you try and manage it yourself, most people should never manage their money themselves
Yeah.
because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and these portfolios are built with ETFs, which are low cost options for our participants in WealthRabbit, our customers.
Gotcha.
And that's something that can really eat up performance as fees. And that's why WealthRabbit exists. Is
Most
'cause
of our
it's low cost.
competitors, they're in mutual funds that are charging over 1%.
They don't beat the market. I mean, our dad's favorite term, it's kind of like going to a casino and hitting 20 and dealer hit me one more time. I'm trying to get that ace. That's if you look at historically, mutual funds,
You're not
they don't beat the market.
Gotcha.
4% of the time.
Interesting.
So it's like hitting on 20.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that was a little better said, but that's why we're here.
We'll cover that in the next episode. The fee structure. I think
Okay.
that's a big topic we should talk about.
Yeah, and that's stuff like it's very hard to see those fees sometimes.
Jason,
Yeah.
we're gonna cover it in the next
We're
episode.
gonna cover the next episode.
Close it out. Close it out.
Too much.
Close it out,
We've said too
Charles.
much. All right.
Close it out.
Thanks.
Take us home, baby.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us on this episode.
The WealthRabbit podcast is a production of WealthRabbit, located in sunny Rock Hill, South Carolina. WealthRabbit is the first digitized platform designed to make simple IRA management effortless. We're on a mission to empower small businesses to invest in their team's financial future without the headaches. No hidden fees, no complicated processes, just retirement planning made simple. Go to wealthrabbit.com now to learn more. The views and opinions expressed on the WealthRabbit podcast are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect or state the opinions of WealthRabbit. Comments and remarks on this podcast should not be construed as tax, legal, or other investment advice. Please consult your tax, legal, or investment professional. All investments involve risk. Past performance does not guarantee future results, including the risk of loss. Investments are not FDIC insured.